Let's talk about a new project here. So typically you go to File, New, and then Document. And this is where you're going to pull up the document window. We're working on a print project. And in this case here, you want to go ahead and you can work in points and picas if you are comfortable with that and you do a lot of print design. Otherwise, inches will be fine here. So a little bit about the pages. So if you know that you're making a two signature page or an eight-page brochure, um, you're going to get eight actual physical pages, right? That would be an 8.5 by 11. So I want it to be landscape, but I want it to be folded. So each page size, here's eight pages. Each of them is going to be 8.5 or 11 by 8.5. I don't want that. I want 8.5 by 11 folded. So I'm going to cut that 11 in halves to 5.5. That's going to make a half page, right? A half sheet page. And I want eight of them here. Now, the start number, the first page in InDesign is absolutely will always be a right-hand page, right? Because when it comes up a folded brochure, the front cover is always on the right-hand side. So look at the Pages tab lecture that I have if you want to review that a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and make my starting number an even number. So start on page 2. We'll leave the default settings here. We're going to use our Facing Pages tab. So click Create. So if I open up my pages here, you're going to see here I ended up with eight individual pages. So page number 2 is a left-handed side page there. Okay, so that's aligned properly. So it's an 8.5 by 11 cut in half. So it's 5.5 by 8.5. And I've got all of my eight pages laid out here. Now, the next portion is we want to go ahead and make sure that we set up this properly when it comes to saving. So I'm going to click File, Save As, and I'm going to go to a project folder here, and every file should have its own folder. Every project should have its own folder. So this is going to be our brochure 2024. Okay. So I'm going to create a folder first, and then inside of here is going to be the brochure file itself. Okay, so I'm going to click Save here. And what that does is now our project is saved in that very specific folder. And the reason for that is when we start placing our images, and we're going to use our rectangle frame tool to place images inside of this, we need to make sure that we've defined that folder because all the images also are going to need to be saved into that particular folder. So what I'm going to do is go back in there, File, Save As for right now, just to pull up that same folder. So you can see here, I am inside of my brochure 2024. I've got my brochure folder here. If you're going to have a lot of images, it might be helpful to have an image or images directory inside of there also. So I made a new folder, images, right? So I can have an images folder. You can also have assets, for example. That would be your logo, graphics, anything like that. So that way it keeps it a little bit more organized. Okay. And again, this is critical, and this is the most important part of this video, is because when we send it to print, we're going to package the file, the brochure file, and that's going to take everything in the assets and images and anything else with it. If you don't have that included, then your file will not print properly. And I'm going to click Save, click Yes. And now we have our document has been created. The pages are set up properly, and we've saved to a folder. So when we export and package everything for print, it will all travel together.